Now, drafted is sometimes a bad connotation, but you might be drafted because of a sudden crisis, like my brother, the day he rode home from work, he didn't arrive home. Or your family dynamics, you're stepping up to the plate. And what we are hoping that you will do, because you are the aging population, even if you are caregiving for somebody older, is to get yourself prepared. Tell me something. Do you help an older person with some of their everyday chores? Or do you visit the chronically ill in their home? Do you have, or are you helping a disabled family member or different friends with various needs during the week? Think about your personal ministry. If we're all in the fellowship of the church, I'm sure you are finding places where, oh, I can help them go to the grocery store. Or might I come and help you do the laundry? Or house cleaning or cooking? Or even grocery shop. I often, now mind you, I'm in the sandwich generation. Not because of the age that I am, but because I've got mom 100 miles south, and then I've got a daughter who was in a car accident on a ventilator. CPAP, really, not really ventilator, but CPAP, because she was in a serious car accident. I've got two women in pain, and I'm in the middle. What am I going to do? You're going to take your oxygen first. This is a great book. I'll have this copy so you can write down all the information. She is a doctor that has been in this area teaching us. This is a very wonderful, supportive community to be able to grow old in, and there's plenty of resources. While I'm mentioning it, my mom has dementia, and I didn't know it for about 8 years, and so that caused a lot of family issues. The last 8 years preceding the time that I actually got my mom up here were, it was like I was, I had to put her as just an acquaintance. I had to separate myself from her because dementia was really heavy in there with accusations of stealing. You don't come and visit me enough. I'm there each week, 100 miles away. As my daughter is going to rehearsal, I'm going to the house every week. My brother's there several times a week. So anyway, the other one is Dementia Caregiver Guide. Tifa Snow is an expert. If you are in the realm of dementia, which more than half of you might or will be, this is a wonderful resource because she has some experience that goes well beyond what we know ourselves to start with. I didn't know anything about dementia, and because this was a sudden drafting of becoming a caregiver, I all of a sudden had to peruse the internet as fast as I could just to understand dementia, what we were getting into, and how I could come out on the other side. Well, if you are doing these things, if you're spending time making plans to help someone get to their doctor's appointment, or help them get their medications reordered, or even just find them in the house. My mom, when I cleaned out her house, she had over 24 hidden spots where her medications were. She had 8 notebooks in different rooms where she would write down when she last took the medication. But if she's in the kitchen and she last took the medication in the bathroom, she's writing it down again and taking that medicine again. Or she's missing that medicine. So if you're going and helping reorder medications, and also maybe the person that's delivering them or setting them up, that's what my brother did every two times a week. He would set up the medications, and then we would rely on her to take them. There's electronic things now that you can set up for approximately 2 weeks, depending on how many medications. And that can be something that may help your family for a while. If you don't have anything like that, or if you're a long-distance caregiver, there's even services. It's about $350 a month, just to give you an idea, to pay a nurse to come and dispense the medication. That could be something that you could do. But anyway, if you are helping people, if you have a church member and you're going to help them get ready, you checked on them. If they're not at Sunday school, and they usually are. You run right to their house and you're helping them maybe get dressed for the church. Or maybe they didn't even shower yet. Or groom themselves. They might have some other issues. If you are doing any of those things, then you are caregiving. So, you are a caregiver. You have been drafted, and this is a gift. And this is what I stand firm on. I love Mr. Dixon over here because throughout all the 27 years, he has been standing firm and going full steam serving the Lord. And you can count on him to always be with the heart of serving the Lord. So now I'm put into the position of standing firm, caregiving. You see those Bible verses, 1 Peter 4, 10, and 11. If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides. And that is such an important thing to grasp, because when you're in the midst of what I'm going to share in a moment, that's about the only thing you can do. As I was driving north to come here today, the wind and the rain were blowing on the Indian River. Do you know what the pelicans were doing? They weren't flying. They were swimming. They were floating in the waves, and all those waves were hitting them, and they were all turned in the same direction into the wind, and they were just floating in the waves. Sometimes I felt like I was just treading water. My mom is still alive, by the way, and this last year has been one of the best years in the last 10 years because we have made it through so much, and now my mom and I have a wonderful, sweet relationship. It doesn't always work out that way, but I was determined as a daughter because it was I was the only one left to take the responsibility. I was drafted, and maybe I wasn't willing at first, but I realized I'm the only one, and God gave me this as a gift, and now I have the gift of that fellowship with my mom. So, if anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. There were so many times that people called me over, staff people, nurses, practitioners, anybody, and I'm not bragging here, but they would pull me aside and say, not very many people come in here and take care of their mom like you do. When Carol was talking about sometimes just being present, there were so many times that I was at the hospital that I basically lived at the hospital with my mom, and I would only go home and walk the dog and then come back. And the presence, I just know my mom was so much, not so much, but in her greatest needs, when I was there, she was the calmest. And I had to watch out. I had to advocate for her. And you do that through God's strength, because I was doing things. I was talking one-to-one to a doctor and basically jumping down his throat. I jumped down the throat of a nurse because that person took my mom's word that she wasn't allergic to oxycodone, the painkiller. It had been proven in the hospital 3 months earlier, the same hospital that my mom was in then. I had to advocate and say, no, you can't change that. She has dementia, and don't get me started on that. Do so with the strength God provides. I put that on the slide all by itself because I'm emphasizing, do so, serve Him, be a caregiver with the strength that God provides. Okay, so 100 miles away, Mom is 100 miles away. She was desiring to be home longer. We did everything that we could to keep her there for as long as we thought it was the least bit safe. And she was very stubborn, and that's why I mentioned the decades of the different times. If you were raised in the Great Depression, you're very independent, and I'm going to turn to my notes that Rob created. You're patriotic, strong, and proud. You're self-made through poverty. You're thrifty and perhaps tight-fisted. My mom was very tight-fisted. Even today, because she is not taking care of her accounts. She has plenty of money, but she doesn't want to spend $10 on getting her nails done or her toenails cut, because they don't do that in the facilities. That's something about their health issues. Collectors, sometimes to the point of hoarding. My mom's house sold on the first day that it was listed. I have 65 boxes of her things in my house in the hallway. So many that even a visiting dog, I'm a grandparent to a dog that's 80 pounds. He had to, when he got to the end of the room, had to back up. I am living in that, and it's been a year. It was sold on May 1st. They're independent, and they're very secretive with personal finances. I never knew what my mom and dad were doing with their accounts. I'm on board today. I'm here standing before you now to get prepared by setting your house in order. Some caregivers are able to organize and manage their loved ones' finances well, but neglect their own affairs in the meantime. Try to set your house in order first before taking on those additional responsibilities. But that's not the only motive. If you set your house in order now, then you are equipping your family member, your children, maybe you don't have any offspring, your church family, your close neighbor. You are equipping them to help you, because they will now be able to take your information and do what they need to for you. Okay, this is why I'm requesting that you do some of your own homework and equip yourself now. I didn't know that it was dementia. If I had known, things would have been done differently even 3 years before my mom was moved up here. Look at this slide. While she was at home, she accused a family member of stealing from her more than one time. She had a car salesman pick her up, drive 60 miles south, sold her a car that was $7,000 more than it was worth, checked with 21 lenders, so down went her credit score. She drove home unattended while we had just decided to call and report her missing. We didn't call Silver Alert because we found out where she was. Thankfully she was okay, but that was the only time she drove that car. Food in the freezer and cabinets. I found 4 years old. 4-year-old cans that were already expired. Food left on the counter, those Meals on Wheels, the deliveries, my mom would set them out because she was just herself and she wasn't eating that much. She set out 5 different plates and divided up that lunch. There it remained for the next 5 hours. This was when I was visiting and I saw that. I said, Mom, you can't do that. Food safety, 4 hours is max. And it already had an hour on the road. So 3 hours when it's home. That was part of the dementia. She got spinal injections for her back, and they were tainted. You heard about that chemical. And she got encephalitis. That precipitated kidney failure. Secrets of dementia. 7 hip surgeries on the same hip. She went through this. Couldn't remember the improvement that she got each time. And she was not capable of deciding for herself to stop the surgeries. I didn't know what she was doing. I know that those surgeries were, oh, I'm on the end. Okay. Do so with the strength God provides. Pre-need planning. And how to get an elder off the roadways. I have some resource sheets here. You can go in there and you can validate them by giving them something to self-evaluate on and get them on board to look out for the well-being of others, just like you're looking out for them. And the last slide, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will direct your paths, even if it's at midnight in the hospital and you're caregiving, or your dog is back home and he needs you to be walked. Yeah. He needs you to be walked because you have to take your oxygen. If you don't take care of yourself, literally, I thank the Lord for that dog needing to be walked. That was part of what kept me alive. So take care of yourself, eat right.